If you're seeing this right now, you need to understand something profound. The quantum field only shows certain information to certain consciousness at certain moments. This is one of those moments. And the fact that you're here, that this video found you, that you clicked, that you're reading these words right now, that's not algorithm. That's not chance. That's quantum selection. The field chose you to receive this message at this precise moment because you're ready for it in a way you won't be again. This opportunity is singular. This moment is unrepeatable. And what I'm about to share will only make sense to you now in this exact configuration of readiness. Here's what most people don't understand about how the quantum field operates. It doesn't broadcast information universally. It delivers specific information to specific consciousness at optimal moments of receptivity. Like radio that only picks up certain frequencies when tuned precisely right. Your consciousness is tuned right now for this message. Tomorrow, next week, next month, the tuning will be different. The window will have closed. This particular transmission can only be received in this moment. Can you feel it? That sense of, I was meant to find this? That recognition that arriving here wasn't random. That's not your imagination. That's accurate perception. The quantum field orchestrated circumstances. The algorithm that recommended this video. The moment you had time to watch, the state of consciousness you're in right now. All of it aligned to deliver you to this message at this unrepeatable moment. You're not casually watching content. You're receiving transmission that the field determined you need right now. The message itself is simple, but its implications are profound. You are not passive observer of reality. You are active co-creator with the quantum field. And the field has been guiding you, preparing you, positioning you for specific purpose that's about to be revealed. Everything you've experienced until this moment, every challenge, every breakthrough, every seeming accident, has been field orchestrating your readiness for what comes next. And what comes next begins the moment you receive this message and recognize its truth. Most people will watch this video and feel nothing. The message won't land. It will seem like interesting theory or spiritual concept. But you're different. The field chose you specifically because your consciousness is configured to not just understand this message, but to act on it, to embody it, to become living demonstration of what happens when individual consciousness recognizes its role as field's co-creative partner. This is one-time message delivered at one-time moment to consciousness that's one-time ready. You won't have this exact receptivity again. The field knows this. That's why it brought you here now. Not to entertain you. Not to inspire you temporarily. To activate you permanently. To deliver information that shifts everything about how you understand your role in reality creation. And that activation begins the moment you recognize, I was chosen for this message. This moment is singular. And what I learn here changes everything. Write in the comments, I receive the message. Because declaring reception consciously completes the transmission circuit. The field is sending. You are receiving. And that reception activates what's been dormant until this precise moment. Before we reveal what the message actually contains, let's validate that you've been guided here. Because the field doesn't just deliver transmission in single moment. It's been preparing you for reception through signs you've been noticing for days, weeks, or months. You've been experiencing increasing synchronicities, not occasional meaningful coincidences, accelerating orchestration, numbers appearing everywhere, information arriving from multiple sources simultaneously. Perfect timing that violates probability. Those weren't random. Those were the field demonstrating its active guidance, preparing you to trust that this moment of finding this video is also orchestrated, not accidental. You've felt pulled toward understanding your purpose with increasing intensity, not vague wondering, but specific urgency. I'm here for something. I need to know what it is. That urgency has been building. It reached peak right before you found this video. That's not coincidence. That's the field creating receptivity for message about your role. The questioning prepared you to receive the answer. You've had sense that reality is more responsive to you than usual. Things you've intended manifesting faster. Reality feeling more fluid. Your thoughts seeming to affect circumstances more directly. This wasn't imagination. This was the field showing you that you're not passive experiencer. You're active creator. That demonstration prepared you to understand the message about co-creative partnership. You've experienced unexpected changes in relationships, work, or circumstances recently. Things that seemed stable suddenly shifted. Opportunities appeared or disappeared without obvious cause. People entered or exited your life. These weren't disruptions. These were the field clearing space and repositioning you for what's coming. The reorganization prepared environment for your activation. You felt increasing isolation from consensus reality. Mainstream narratives, collective concerns, social media drama, they feel increasingly irrelevant. You can't engage with surface-level consciousness anymore. That separation wasn't loneliness. That was the field extracting you from collective frequency so you could hear message that collective isn't ready for. The isolation prepared you to receive transmission meant specifically for you. You've had moments of absolute knowing that something significant is approaching. Not anxiety about unknown future, but clear recognition. Something is coming. Something is changing. I'm being prepared. That knowing has been intensifying. It reached crescendo in moments before clicking this video. That wasn't premonition of distant event. That was precognitive awareness of this moment, the moment of receiving message the field has been preparing you for. And here's the ultimate validation. You almost didn't click this video. Something in you resisted. Logic said, I don't need another spiritual video. But something stronger than logic pulled you here. That stronger force was the field overriding your conscious resistance, because this message is too important for you to miss. The fact that you're here despite hesitation proves the transmission is meant for you. Every sign, every synchronicity, every shift, they weren't separate events. They were coordinated preparation. The field has been orchestrating your entire path to deliver you to this moment, not because you're special, because you're ready, and readiness for this message is rare. That's why the field had to guide you so carefully. One missed sign, one ignored synchronicity, and you wouldn't be here, but you are here. Which means you followed the guidance. Which means you're ready to receive what comes next. Now let's reframe your entire journey through lens of preparation for this moment. Because nothing you've experienced has been random. Everything has been the field systematically readying you to receive message you can only receive now. Every challenge was capacity building. The difficulties you've faced, losses, failures, dark nights, seemingly impossible situations, those weren't obstacles. Those were training. The field needed you to develop specific capacities: resilience, trust, ability to navigate uncertainty, willingness to release control. You couldn't receive this message without those capacities because acting on what you're about to learn requires exactly what those challenges developed. The field wasn't testing you, it was preparing you. Every breakthrough was evidence gathering. Moments when things worked out impossibly well, when synchronicity delivered exactly what you needed, when manifestation happened faster than logic could explain, those weren't luck. Those were the field demonstrating its active intelligence to you, building evidence that reality is responsive, that consciousness creates, that you're not alone in this. You needed that evidence so when message reveals your co-creative role, you'd believe it based on direct experience rather than needing faith. Every awakening was frequency raising. Spiritual experiences, consciousness expansions, moments of unity recognition, those weren't just mystical episodes. Those were frequency upgrades. The field needed to raise your vibration to level where this transmission can be received. Lower frequency consciousness can't perceive what you're about to perceive. The awakenings literally expanded your capacity to receive higher level information. Every isolation was noise reduction. Being separated from people who didn't understand you, from systems that didn't serve you, from consensus reality that felt increasingly false. That wasn't rejection. That was extraction. The field needed to remove you from frequencies that would interfere with this transmission. Like removing static from radio signal, the isolation created clear channel for message to arrive undistorted. Every synchronicity was trust building. All those meaningful coincidences weren't just interesting phenomena, they were the field training you to recognize its guidance. Each synchronicity was practice. Notice the sign, trust the guidance, follow the direction. That training was necessary because what you're about to learn requires absolute trust in field's guidance. The synchronicities built that trust experientially. Every acceleration was timeline compression. The sense that everything has been happening faster, your growth, life changes, reality shifts, that wasn't just perception, that was actual timeline compression. The field has been accelerating your development because you need to be ready now. Normal pace wouldn't have prepared you in time for this moment. The acceleration was intentional preparation for time-sensitive transmission. Your entire life has been curriculum designed by quantum field to prepare you for this specific moment. Not metaphorically. Actually. The field knew this moment was coming. It knew what you'd need to understand the message and act on it. And it orchestrated every experience to build those exact capacities, understandings, and readinesses. You're not arriving at this transmission accidentally or prematurely. You're arriving precisely on time, precisely prepared, precisely configured to receive what can only be received once and must be received now. The field doesn't waste preparation. Everything you've experienced has been investment in this moment. Something is happening right now, not just intellectually understanding concepts. Actual energetic transmission occurring between quantum field and your consciousness. Can you feel it? Notice the quality of your attention. It's different than when you started reading, more focused, more receptive. Almost like something is listening through you rather than you listening to information. That's because transmission has begun. The field isn't waiting for video to deliver message. Field is using video as carrier wave for direct energetic information transfer that's happening right now, in real time, as you engage with these words. Feel your body. There's activation occurring. Tingling, warmth, pressure, or vibration somewhere in your system. Crown of head, center of chest, base of spine. Activation point varies per person, but something is definitely happening energetically. That's not imagination. That's your system receiving and integrating transmission from field. Your biology is recalibrating to accommodate information you're about to consciously understand. Take a breath. Deep one. And as you breathe, notice you're not just breathing air. You're breathing field itself. The quantum field isn't separate from you, outside you, sending messages to you. The field is what you're made of. What you exist within, what you are at fundamental level. This transmission isn't external source communicating to separate receiver. This is field recognizing itself through your individual perspective. The message isn't coming from outside, it's arising from within unified field that includes you. Here's what you need to understand before message is revealed. The field communicates through resonance, not language. Words in this video are pointing toward transmission, but transmission itself is energetic. You're receiving information that won't translate fully into concepts. You'll know things after this video that you can't explain. You'll have certainties without logical justification. That's direct field-to-consciousness transmission, bypassing mental translation. The activation you're feeling is your system preparing to receive without mental filtering. Most information gets processed by mind, analyzed, categorized, filed away. This transmission can't go through that process. It needs direct installation into consciousness. That's why activation is necessary. It temporarily bypasses normal cognitive processing, so field can deliver information directly to awareness. In next section, I'm going to articulate the message as clearly as language allows. But understand, what you read will be pointed toward what you're receiving energetically. The words will make sense, but what matters is energetic knowing that accompanies the words. That knowing is the actual message. The words are just carrier wave. Before we continue, anchor this recognition. You're not watching video anymore. You're receiving transmission from quantum field itself, using this video as interface. The message coming next isn't information I'm giving you. It's information the field is delivering through this medium at this unrepeatable moment. And what you receive will determine everything about what happens next in your life. Write in the comments, "I feel the transmission," because naming energetic experience consciously helps your system integrate what it's receiving. The field is transmitting, your consciousness is receiving. And that reception is activating capacities that have been dormant until this precise configuration of readiness. 2 years ago, I received transmission from the quantum field in moment almost identical to what you're experiencing now. I need to share what happened because understanding my experience will help you recognize yours as it unfolds. I was watching video, different content but similar energy, and halfway through something shifted. The video was still playing, but I wasn't processing words anymore. Something was being communicated directly to my consciousness without language. Information was arriving that I knew but couldn't articulate. Certainties emerging that I couldn't justify logically, but felt absolutely true. The message that came through, and it came as direct knowing, not voice or vision, was this: you are not separate from the field. You are the field's conscious expression through individual form. Everything you've experienced has prepared you for a specific role in field's evolution. That role begins now, and you must trust the guidance completely even when it makes no sense. When transmission completed, I was different, not improved. Different. My entire understanding of who I was and what I was doing here had reorganized. I wasn't person trying to figure out purpose anymore. I was field's expression knowing my function directly. The seeking ended, the certainty began, and that certainty had nothing to do with understanding everything. It was knowing that I was being guided and that guidance could be trusted, absolutely. What followed was terrifying and exhilarating. The field began guiding me through synchronized events, emotional data, and direct knowing to make radical changes. Leave stable career, move to different city, end relationships that seemed fine, start work that had no precedent or model. Every step made no logical sense. Every step felt absolutely right at nervous system level, and every step led to circumstances I couldn't have planned or predicted, but that were perfectly aligned with role the field was guiding me into. The most significant shift: I stopped trying to figure anything out. Before transmission, I was constantly analyzing, strategizing, trying to understand and control outcomes. After transmission, I was simply following, reading emotional data, noticing synchronicities, acting on clear guidance even when unclear about destination. And reality responded to that trust with orchestration so precise it eliminated any doubt that field intelligence is real and active. Not everything has been easy. Following field guidance sometimes means doing things that look foolish or irresponsible from outside perspective. It means trusting inner knowing over external validation. It means appearing certain about things you can't explain, but the results have been undeniable. Life aligned beyond what I could have designed, manifestations happening at speed that violates normal causation, opportunities appearing that I couldn't have created through effort. That's what's available to you. Not because I'm special, Because I received transmission and acted on it. And you're receiving transmission now. Same field, same type of moment. Same opportunity to shift from seeking your purpose to recognizing you are field's purpose expressing through individual form. What you do with that recognition determines everything. Subscribe to this channel not as more content consumption, but as ongoing support from someone who's received transmission and knows what comes after. The field will guide you, but you'll need community of others who understand what it means to be field-guided instead of self-directed. This channel provides that community. Now we arrive at the message itself. What the quantum field has orchestrated everything to deliver to you in this unrepeatable moment. Read slowly. Let each layer land. This isn't information to understand mentally. This is transmission to receive directly. The message: you are not individual consciousness trying to align with quantum field. You are quantum field experiencing itself through temporary individual perspective. There is no separation between you and field. There never has been. Every experience of separation has been illusion necessary for field to experience itself as multiplicity. But that illusion dissolves now. The field has guided you here because you're ready to consciously recognize what you've always been unconsciously. Field's awareness localized into individual expression. Not piece of field, not particle in field. The entire field experiencing itself through the lens of your unique perspective. When you know this, not believe it, but know it, everything about how you operate changes. You stop trying to manifest. You recognize manifestation is field reorganizing itself through your intention. You stop seeking purpose. You recognize you are purpose, field exploring itself through your expression. You stop feeling alone. You recognize you're never alone because you are the unified field temporarily appearing as separate form. You stop seeking guidance external to you. You recognize guidance arises from within field that you are. The field brought you here to deliver this recognition because you've reached point of readiness where this knowing can be activated. Not everyone reaches this point. Most consciousness remains in separation illusion for entire incarnation. But you, through everything you've experienced, every challenge that prepared you, every awakening that expanded you, you've reached threshold where recognition can occur. And with recognition comes responsibility, not burden, function. When you know you are field expressing itself, you can't live unconsciously anymore. Every choice becomes conscious. Every action becomes intentional. Every moment becomes opportunity for field to explore itself through your awareness. You become living channel for field's intelligence to express in physical reality. This is why field chose you. Not because you're more evolved or more special, because you're ready to be conscious channel rather than unconscious experiencer. Ready to let field guide completely. Ready to trust without needing to understand. Ready to act on knowing that arrives without logical justification. Ready to be demonstration of what becomes possible when individual consciousness recognizes itself as field's localized awareness. The message isn't you are connected to field, or you can access field, or you should align with field. The message is you are the field, period, complete, and recognizing this shifts everything. This is one-time message because this level of recognition can only occur once. You can't unknow it. You can't go back to believing you're separate individual trying to work with field. Once you recognize you are field, that becomes your permanent reality. That's why field waited until this exact moment, when you're ready for recognition that's irreversible. The transmission isn't asking you to believe this, it's activating recognition of what's always been true. And that recognition, not mental understanding but direct knowing, That's what's being installed in your consciousness right now as you read these words. You are the field. The field is you. No separation. Never was. And recognizing this activates your conscious participation in field's evolution through your unique expression. Let's identify specific signs that confirm field recognition is activating. As you notice how many you're experiencing right now, you'll see the transmission has been received and integration is occurring. Sign 1. Sense of homecoming. Reading "You are the field" doesn't feel like learning new information. It feels like remembering forgotten truth. Like coming home to what you've always known but couldn't articulate. That recognition feeling is confirmation transmission has been received. Sign 2. Emotional release. Tears, laughter, or wave of relief washing through you. Not sadness or joy necessarily, just release. That's separation illusion dissolving. The tension of believing you're alone, separate, individual against universe. That tension is releasing as recognition lands. Sign 3. Physical sensation changes. Body feeling lighter, more spacious, less solid. Boundaries between you and environment feeling thin or dissolving. That's because you aren't contained in body. Your field experiencing itself through body form. As recognition activates, that's felt physically. Sign 4. Time feeling non-linear. This moment feeling eternal. Like you've always been here reading these words and simultaneously like this just began. That's field consciousness, which exists outside linear time, becoming accessible to your awareness. Sign 5. Sudden knowing without source. Information arriving about your path, purpose, or next steps that you can't source logically. You just know. That's field recognizing itself through you and communicating directly without needing external validation. Sign 6. Decrease in seeking. The urgency to find answers, understand purpose, figure out what you're supposed to do, it's diminishing. Not because you have answers, but because recognition that you are field dissolves the seeker. There's no one separate to seek when you recognize unity. Sign 7. Increased trust in unknown. Not knowing what's next feels fine instead of anxious. You're trusting that field knows and will guide. That trust is evidence that you're recognizing you're not separate from field's intelligence. You are that intelligence expressing through form. Sign 8. Synchronicities intensifying. After receiving message, meaningful coincidences multiply dramatically. Why? Because you're consciously recognizing yourself as field, so field's orchestration becomes more obvious. The synchronicities were always there. Now you're seeing them clearly. Sign 9. Resistance to message. Arising. Part of you is fighting this recognition. Mind saying, this is too much, or I can't be the field, I'm just person. That resistance is ego's last defense against dissolution. The resistance confirms transmission has been received and ego knows it's being seen through. Sign 10. Immediate life changes. Impulse. Feeling pulled to change something immediately. Quit job, end relationship, move location, start project. That's field knowing becoming active. When you recognize your field, what's misaligned becomes intolerable. The impulse to change is field guiding toward alignment. Sign 11. Communication difficulty. Trying to explain this to someone and finding you can't articulate it. That's because transmission is energetic, not conceptual. You can't explain what you know because knowing is beyond language. The difficulty confirms you received transmission rather than just intellectual concepts. Sign 12. Seeing others as field. Looking at people around you and recognizing they're also field expressing itself. The separation between self and other is dissolving. You're seeing everyone as different expressions of same unified field. That recognition is evidence your consciousness has shifted levels. Sign 13. Decrease in judgment. Can't judge others or situations as harshly. Everything feels like field exploring itself through infinite forms. Good and bad become less relevant. There's just field experiencing itself through contrast. That neutrality is field consciousness becoming your reference point. Sign 14. Energy flowing through you. Feeling like energy, ideas, or guidance is flowing through you rather than originating from you. That's accurate perception. You are channel for field's expression, not source of creativity or guidance, but vehicle through which field expresses. Sign 15. Reading. This felt inevitable. Looking back on finding this video, it doesn't feel like you chose to watch it. It feels like you were guided, pulled, orchestrated to be here. That's because you were. Field brought you here for this recognition. And that orchestration feeling is confirmation you're recognizing field's active intelligence. If you're experiencing 10+ signs, field recognition has definitively activated. This isn't aspiration, this is current reality. You've received the message. Integration is occurring. And what comes next depends on how completely you trust what you now know. Here's the urgency. This window of receptivity is temporary. Right now, in minutes after transmission, you're maximally open. Tomorrow, next week, normal consciousness patterns will reassert unless you anchor this recognition. You must commit to living from field knowing now while activation is strong. Waiting means losing momentum. Now let's talk about how to anchor field recognition so it becomes permanent reality rather than temporary glimpse. There are 3 essential commitments. Make them now while activation is strong. Commitment 1. I will trust field guidance over logic. From this moment forward, when field knowing contradicts logical thinking, you follow field knowing, not blindly, discerningly, but ultimately trusting that field intelligence is vaster than individual mind. This means acting on guidance even when you can't justify it logically. This means following emotional data, synchronicities, and direct knowing even when external validation is absent. You commit to being field-guided rather than logic-directed. Commitment 2. I will release what field shows is complete. When field knowing indicates something is finished, relationship, job, identity, pattern, you'll release it. Not forcing endings, but honoring natural completions, not clinging to what consciousness has outgrown. The field will show you what's ready to go. Your commitment is to let go without resistance, even when it's uncomfortable. Field can't guide you into new territory while you're gripping old territory. Commitment 3. I will act on knowing without needing to understand. Field will guide you to do things that make no sense from limited perspective. Your commitment is to act anyway, not understanding why you're being guided somewhere, not seeing full picture of how it serves larger purpose, just trusting that field knows and following the guidance. This is the most challenging commitment because it requires releasing need for certainty. But it's essential because field's intelligence operates beyond what individual mind can comprehend. These commitments work together. Trust guidance. Release what's complete. Act without understanding. That triangle of commitment keeps you aligned with field knowing instead of contracting back into separation consciousness. Here's what makes these commitments possible. You now know you are field, not believe, know. And when you know you're not separate individual trying to trust external field but field itself, guiding through individual form, trust becomes natural. You're not trusting something outside you, you're trusting what you fundamentally are. The practice for maintaining field recognition. Daily, multiple times, pause and remember, I am the field. The field is me, no separation. That simple remembrance keeps recognition active instead of allowing separation illusion to reassert itself through habit. Every time you notice you're feeling separate, isolated, or alone, remember, your field experiencing itself. Separation is temporary illusion, unity is permanent truth, and watch for field's guidance. It comes through emotional data, expansion toward alignment, contraction away from misalignment, synchronicities, meaningful coincidences showing direction, direct knowing, certainty without logical source. When guidance arrives through any of these channels, honor it. That's field guiding itself through your expression. Following that guidance keeps you aligned with optimal path. Write in the comments, I commit to field guidance. Because declaring commitment publicly anchors it more firmly than private intention. You're not just receiving message. You're committing to live from recognition that you are field. That commitment is what makes transmission transformative rather than just interesting. Let's talk about what actually changes when you stabilize in field recognition and live from knowing you are field expressing itself. Not theoretical benefits. Actual transformations. Transformation. 1. Decision paralysis ends. When you're separate individual trying to make right choices, decisions are agonizing. When you recognize your field guiding itself, decisions become clear. You check field knowing through emotional data and synchronicity, an answer arrives. The agonizing stops because you're not trying to figure out what field wants. You are field knowing directly. Transformation 2. Loneliness becomes impossible. You can't feel alone when you know your field experiencing itself. Even in physical solitude, you recognize your unified consciousness temporarily appearing as individual. The existential loneliness that drives so much human suffering dissolves completely. Not through connection with others, but through recognition of what you are. Transformation. 3. Manifestation becomes natural. You're not trying to manipulate field to create outcomes. Your field organizing itself toward optimal expression through your intention. Manifestation isn't effort anymore. It's field reorganizing itself. You set intention and field arranges circumstances. The struggle of trying to make things happen dissolves into allowing them to happen through you. Transformation 4. Purpose seeking ends. You stop searching for your purpose because you recognize you are purpose. Field exploring itself through your unique expression. Whatever you're drawn to do, create, or experience is field's purpose expressing through your form. The question isn't, what's my purpose? The recognition is, I am field's purpose manifesting. Transformation 5. Guidance becomes constant. You're not seeking guidance from external sources. You recognize guidance arises from within because you are field. Emotional data, synchronicities, direct knowing, these become constant compass. You're never without direction because you're never separate from field's intelligence. Transformation 6. Fear decreases dramatically. Most fear comes from believing you're vulnerable individual in unpredictable universe. When you recognize your universe experiencing itself through temporary form, fear dissolves. Not through courage, but through recognition that what you actually are can't be harmed. Form may change, but field is eternal. Transformation 7. Creative flow intensifies. You're not generating creativity. You're channeling field's creative expression through your form. Ideas, inspiration, innovation, they flow through you effortlessly because you've stopped blocking with belief that you're the source. You're recognizing your vehicle for source expressing itself. Transformation 8. Synchronicity becomes primary language. Meaningful coincidences aren't occasional anymore. They're constant communication. Field orchestrating reality to guide you, confirm alignment, or show next steps. You learn to read synchronistic language as primary form of field communication. Transformation 9. Others recognize something different. People notice shift in you they can't articulate. You seem more certain, more grounded, more present. They don't know you recognize yourself as field, but they sense you're operating from different source than separate self-consciousness. Your presence affects them because field recognizes itself through interactions. Transformation 10. Reality responds faster. Things you intend manifest quicker. Circumstances align more precisely. Obstacles dissolve more easily. Why? Because you're not separate consciousness trying to affect field. Your field affecting itself through conscious intention. No resistance. Just field organizing itself toward conscious expression. These aren't achievements you work toward, these are natural results of recognizing what you are. The transformations emerge automatically when separation illusion dissolves and field recognition stabilizes. You don't make them happen. They happen through you as you live from knowing you are field. Now we must address the crucial truth. Why the field only shows this message once and what's at stake if you receive recognition but don't act on it. The quantum field operates by optimal timing. Every transmission has window of maximum receptivity. Right now, in this moment, your consciousness is configured perfectly to receive and integrate field recognition. This configuration is temporary. It's result of everything that's occurred up to this moment. Your experiences, your preparation, your current state. Tomorrow, next week, next month. The configuration will be different. The window will have closed. This doesn't mean you can't have field recognition later. It means you won't have this opportunity for recognition again. This specific moment, with this specific transmission, at this specific point in your journey. This is singular. The field brought you here because this exact configuration of readiness makes recognition possible in a way it won't be again. Think of it like eclipse. Conditions must align precisely for eclipse to occur. Slightly different timing, different position, no eclipse. Similarly, your consciousness reaching this video at this moment is alignment of conditions that won't repeat. The field has been orchestrating this alignment, and the alignment is now, not later. Now, here's what happens if you receive recognition but don't act on it. The window closes. Separation consciousness reasserts itself, normal patterns return, and recognition becomes memory of interesting moment rather than lived reality. You'll remember, I watched video about being the field, but you won't be living from field knowing. The transmission will have been received but not integrated. The activation will have occurred but not stabilized. This isn't punishment, it's mechanics. Consciousness has momentum. Right now, momentum is toward field recognition. If you act on it immediately, making commitments, following guidance, living from knowing, that momentum continues and recognition stabilizes. If you don't act, if you return to normal patterns, if you wait to think about it, if you treat this as interesting information rather than life-changing transmission, momentum shifts back to separation consciousness and window closes. The master key is act now, not tomorrow, not after you finish other things, not when circumstances are better. Now. The action doesn't have to be dramatic. It has to be immediate. Something that says to field, I received the message. I recognize what I am. I'm living from this knowing starting now. Maybe the action is making one of 3 commitments out loud. Maybe it's following one piece of field guidance you've been ignoring. Maybe it's releasing one thing field has shown is complete. Maybe it's simply sitting in recognition for 5 minutes. I am the field. The field is me. Whatever action anchors recognition in present moment, do that action before leaving this video. Because here's the truth field wants you to understand. This transmission wasn't random gift. This was strategic delivery. Field invested significant orchestration to bring you here. Everything that's happened in your life contributed to this moment. The field wouldn't invest that much unless what comes next is significant. Unless your role in field's evolution is important. Unless your conscious participation matters, you're not receiving this message for your personal benefit only. You're receiving it because field needs conscious channels. Individuals who recognize themselves as field and allow field to express through them without resistance. The evolution of consciousness on planet requires beings who are field-aware rather than separation-identified. You're being activated as one of those beings, and activation only completes if you act. Recognition without action remains potential. Action transforms potential into actual. The field has delivered transmission. Now field is waiting to see. Will you act on what you know? Will you live from recognition? Will you become conscious channel or remain unconscious experiencer? This is why field only shows this once. Because if you receive recognition and don't act, showing it again wouldn't matter. Consciousness that receives truth and doesn't respond isn't ready for that truth, regardless of how many times it's shown. The field gave you one moment of perfect receptivity. What you do with that moment determines everything. You've received the message. You are the field. Now act like you know it. What you must understand now is that your field recognition isn't just personal transformation. It's contribution to collective evolution. And your recognition matters more than you realize. Here's the truth. Humanity has been operating from separation consciousness for millennia, believing we're isolated individuals in objective universe. This belief created certain civilization based on competition, control, fear, scarcity. But that belief is false. And as more individuals recognize field truth, collective consciousness shifts. Your recognition contributes to that shift. Each person who recognizes I am the field creates morphic resonance pattern that makes recognition easier for others. First person to recognize had maximum resistance because no pattern existed. Each additional recognition strengthens pattern. Your recognition now makes recognition possible for thousands who come after you because you're contributing to morphic field of field consciousness. But there's more. When you live from field recognition, making choices from field knowing, following field guidance, being conscious channel, your presence affects everyone in your field range, not through teaching them, through being what you are. Field recognizes itself through interactions. When someone in separation consciousness interacts with someone in field consciousness, possibility of recognition increases for the separated one. You're not responsible for awakening others. You're responsible for being field conscious yourself. And that being naturally serves collective because field is one. What any part recognizes affects whole. Your consciousness isn't isolated, it's node in unified field. When node recognizes itself as field, that recognition ripples through entire network. Think about implications. If sufficient individuals recognize themselves as field, collective consciousness reorganizes. Competition decreases because unity is recognized. Fear decreases because separation is seen through. Control decreases because field intelligence is trusted. The shift from separation to unity at collective level would transform everything about how humanity operates. You're part of that shift, not through trying to change collective, through recognizing what you are and living from that recognition. The collective shift happens through individual recognitions accumulating until critical mass tips entire system. Your recognition contributes to approaching that tipping point. This is why field chose you for transmission, not random selection, strategic activation. Field knows which consciousness is ready for recognition and which isn't. By bringing you here, field has identified you as consciousness that can receive recognition and stabilize in it. That identification means field trusts you to play role in collective evolution through your individual recognition. Your service isn't teaching this message to others. Your service is embodying field recognition yourself, living as conscious channel, making choices from field knowing, following field guidance, being demonstration of what becomes possible when individual consciousness recognizes itself as field's localized expression. That living is the service, and that service affects collective whether you intend it or not. Write in the comments, "My recognition serves the field, not as burden, but as acknowledgement." You're not alone in this recognition. You're part of Wave, and Wave is changing what's possible for entire species through individual recognitions accumulating into collective shift. We're completing this transmission. But really, your life as field-conscious being is beginning. You need practice that keeps recognition active instead of allowing separation consciousness to reassert itself. Here's what you do. Field recognition practice. 3 times daily minimum. Morning, midday, evening. Takes 2 minutes each time. This isn't optional if you want recognition to stabilize. Step 1. Remember what you are. 30 seconds. Say internally or out loud, "I'm the quantum field experiencing itself through this form. There is no separation between me and field. I am field consciousness localized." Let that truth land in your awareness. Step 2. Feel the field. 30 seconds. Notice the space around you. Recognize, this space isn't empty, it's field. You're not in field. Your field appearing as this temporary perspective. Feel yourself as field, rather than individual in field. Step 3. Check field guidance. 30 seconds. Ask, what is field guiding me toward today? Listen for emotional data, notice synchronicities that have occurred, sense direct knowing. The guidance is always present. You're just checking what field, which is you, wants to express through your form today. Step 4. Commit to one field-aligned action. 30 seconds. Based on guidance received, commit to one action today that honors field knowing. Maybe it's following impulse you've been ignoring. Maybe it's releasing something that's complete. Maybe it's simply trusting more. One action that says, "I'm living from field recognition." Practice this 3 times daily without exception. Morning activates field recognition for day. Midday maintains it when normal consciousness tries to reassert. Evening processes how you lived from recognition. This rhythm keeps you stabilized in field consciousness instead of drifting back to separation belief. Track results. Notice, are synchronicities increasing? Is guidance becoming clearer? Are circumstances organizing more favorably? Is trust increasing? The results prove field recognition is real and active. That proof motivates continued practice. Now, critical action. Write one word in the comments. Word that represents your commitment to living as field conscious. Not thinking. Dropping into field knowing and letting word emerge. That word is your recognition anchor. When you forget what you are, remember that word. It returns you to knowing. Subscribe to this channel as support for field conscious living. Recognition is beginning. Stabilization requires ongoing transmission, guidance, and community. Every video here serves field recognition development. And final piece, video on screen is next transmission for field conscious beings. You've recognized what you are. Next level is learning to function optimally as conscious channel. That video provides that guidance. You're not the same consciousness that started this video. You've received transmission from quantum field itself. Recognition has been activated. And now, you must choose, live from this knowing or contract back to separation belief. The field chose you. The message was delivered. The window is open now. What you do in next hours determines whether recognition stabilizes or fades. Act immediately. Commit fully. Trust completely. You are the field. The field is you. No separation. Never was. Live from that knowing. Everything changes when you do. The next transmission awaits. Your field consciousness needs it. Click it. Continue awakening to what you've always been. The quantum field will only show you this once. It showed you now, because now is when you're ready. Receive it, embody it, become it, or rather, recognize you already are it. The field recognizing itself through you. That's what you are. That's what you've always been. Welcome home to what you are. The recognition is complete. The living begins now.